It's that time again. The annual conference of the American Society of Ag Consultants, otherwise known as ASAC, is going to be held in Fort Myers, Florida, this November 4th and 5th. Kurt Covington is one of 9 professionals who will address the conference. The other speakers who will cover a wide range of topics represent Florida Farm Bureau, Florida Citrus Commission, University of Tennessee Institute of Agriculture, National Ag Law Center, Risk Mitigators and Advisors, Tyler Associates, as well as the lead economist for dairy at CoBank, and myself, Chrissy Wozniak from North American Ag. The day and a half of presentations will be followed by ag tours on Tuesday afternoon at Echo Farms, one of my favorite places here in Fort Myers. Attendees will experience farming at its most creative, with unique demonstrations, plants, and techniques being used to help farmers and urban gardeners in developing countries. A second tour at Echo will showcase simple technologies that can improve food, water, and shelter for millions of people. A third tour of a hydroponic grower is also being planned. For more information and to register, visit www.agconsultants.org. That's www.agconsultants.org. See you there. Our sponsor today is Morning Ag Clips. Morning Ag Clips is America's #1 daily ag news service, designed to be a quick and easy read. It will help you stay up to date on the important headlines in both local and national agriculture every business morning. You can go to their website at www.morningagclips.com to sign up or peruse the headlines. Connect with them on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well. Your Morning Ag Clips will help to keep you in the know. And welcome to the North American Ag Spotlight. I'm Chrissy Wozniak. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with a woman who has a rich dairy background. In the past, she worked in the AI industry at ABS Global in the genetic management systems, Sire Acquisition, and R&D areas. Then later joined Pfizer Animal Health, now Zoetis, where she worked with large dairies on genomics, reproduction, records analysis, and transition cows until mid-2014, when she moved into marketing for nearly 5 years for U.S. dairy genetics and cattle reproduction, with her most notable launching being CLARIFIDE Plus. Following her time at Zoetis, she began her consulting business and has worked with 6 organizations since that time. She's worked with hundreds of dairy herds of all sizes across the U.S. and well over a dozen countries on 6 continents. And she's now part of a new conference, the Data and Innovation Summit, which we're going to talk about today. From Savage, Minnesota, I'd like to welcome Cheryl Marti. Welcome, Cheryl. Thank you so much for joining me. How are you today?
Good. Thank you so much, Chrissy. Yes.
Good. So tell me a bit about your background.
Yeah, well, I grew up in a family dairy farm in Sleepy Eye, Minnesota, now owned by my sister's family. And I got really involved there in a lot of everyday jobs on the farm and extremely involved in 4-H, FFA, junior Holstein. And from there, I went on and got my educational degrees in animal science, a master's degree in dairy genetics, and then an MBA later on. And then you've kind of gone through part of my professional career in the dairy industry and just, loved all aspects of what I've done so far in my life.
Awesome. So what is the Data and Innovation Summit and where is it being held?
Yeah, this is a special event that is the first ever that's being held as part of the National Holstein Convention. Our event is actually going to feature a lot of dairy industry leaders who will be sharing their data, how data for many different innovations can be used on today's dairy farms, and learning how to maximize the efficiency and results and profitability with that information. And people attending will learn a lot about how to implement new technologies or data systems, or just how to use the data in general. And they'll hear a little discussion from industry leaders who utilize this data in multiple ways, and also hear from dairy producers themselves who are using some innovations in their farm. And this summit is going to be an in-person only event that'll be on June 30th this year at the Sioux Falls Convention Center in Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
And so who's the conference for?
Yeah, this is really for anybody and everybody in the dairy industry. We've really focused it on dairy producers for all sizes, all breeds, and all types, registered and commercial. And if any other advisors, veterinarians, and anybody else in the industry that is interested in this topic area. We've even invited some college age students and high school students that might be interested to hear about things that they might want to get into from a career perspective, or go back and farm and use these technologies, or anybody consulting or looking to get ahead in some of the dairy challenge contests that exist out there today.
Great. And so there's something for both large operations and the family farm?
Absolutely. Yes. Technology is not just a one size fits all or or either or. All sizes really can benefit from technology and have the ability to use their data in a better way. And that's really the idea of this event. And each solution might be a little different for each farm, but in reality, every solution is a little different at every farm, whatever we're looking at, and it's not always size based.
Yeah, that's a good point. And so why was this conference started? What was the need?
Yeah, the special event came out from our Minnesota Holstein Association, which I'm involved in, and where we wanted to really include educational sessions to the national convention, which we're the host of this year, and bring more reasons to attract more than our traditional audience to the convention, and expand that reach beyond just the traditional group to producers outside of the registered Holstein audience. And we'd love to see more cross-pollination, you could say, of the different types of farms and sizes. There can be a lot of great learning in that, I think, also. And with the big discussion areas today being in the data and technology spaces, we really wanted to focus in on the cow and the herd data side of these innovations for our agenda.
Yeah, that's great. And so during these presentations, what are some of the topics that will be discussed?
Yeah, we're going to have several. We'll have 4 main speakers. Dr. Jeffrey Bewley, who's with the Holstein Association now, but came from academia. He'll be talking about the dairy data and technologies of the past, present, and looking into the future a bit. And then we'll have Dr. Mike Overton talking about the do's and don'ts of interpreting farm data. Basically, how do we avoid common mistakes that we might not think about? And then we'll have a panel on connected technologies and what farmers really need. And this is going to be an industry group that will be talking about, what they're trying to do on their end and what they see as opportunities and challenges. And then we'll have Dr. Jason Osterstock from Zoetis talk about unlocking the power of data for the hardest working cow in the business. And he's from some genetics background as well. And then we'll also have our final speaker before the last producer panel is going to be Chris Cunningham, and he's with the Dairy Performance Network. And he's going to talk about how to determine if precision dairy analytics and technologies are right for your farm. So their organization actually does those things with farms to help them make decisions. And then we end up with a producer panel to talk about herd successes through the applications of these new technologies and systems.
Wow, that's broad range of topics. That's really great.
Yeah, and then I should even just mention too that there's going to be 11 other sponsored educational seminars that are going to be outside of that later in the afternoon, starting around 3:30. And these are sponsored by 11 different companies, and most all of them are going to be same technology types of companies that are helping support the meeting. And so we're highly encouraging everyone to stay a little longer for the afternoon and more into the evening I'll talk about later.
Nice. And will there be producers speaking as well?
Yeah, that last producer panel will be all producers. Awesome. One is a manager and also a veterinarian too. So she'll have some interesting and unique ways that she's going to share about how she's helped other farms implement the technology too. But they've all got a little different systems and ways that they're using their data.
Great. And are there any opportunities for farm tours?
Yeah, that's kind of the nice thing. The day before, so this will be on June 29th, which is a Wednesday, we're encouraging people to come a little earlier to take part in one of 3 farm tours. So the ones that we have, the one that if they're especially interested in like robotic operations, they might want to consider the tour called Western Ways. And for those that are interested in some other different kind of cow-based technologies, they might be interested more in the Great Northern Tour. And then we have one other final tour, the Southern Scenes, that'll be going to like Trans-Ovid Genetics and some other farms of different sizes. And in all cases, all of the tours, they'll be going through an interesting tour of Hydro Green, a company right in Sioux Falls. And then there'll be a lot of special cow families to see in all of the different tours. But space is limited on those, so make sure they register soon for those. And those are the Wednesday, the 29th.
Great. And it's part of the National Holstein Convention as well. So what other events and highlights can you tell me about that?
Yeah, the whole convention starts on June 29th and ends July 1st. And for the adult side of things, we have a fun, well, and the kids too. The first night is for both. We're having a fun casino night on the Tuesday night. We'll have the farm tour, as I mentioned, on Wednesday, starting early in the morning. So you might need to come in the night before. And Wednesday evening, we have a special motivational speaker, Chris Cook, who's a farmer up in Canada. That's lined up for Wednesday evening. And then, of course, the Data and Innovation Summit is Thursday, starting at 7 a.m. And that'll wrap up that part of it at 1:15. But the seminars are set at 3:30. There's a Holstein annual meeting in the middle of that where we're going to have a panel that will include some researchers who are doing some interesting work with the Holstein Association USA. And then we talked about the sponsored seminars after that, but it doesn't end there. We've got a social right after that for people that have the beverage tickets. So if they went through the trade show and talked to the exhibitors in the booths, and they can get some tickets from them for some free drinks later on. And then we have another ticketed event that night, which is a dinner before the National Convention sale. And we're having a cattleman-style tasty ribeye sandwich meal that night. So people can stick around for that and socialize. And if they really feel like they'd like to spend some money on some really good quality cattle, some of the best in the country, they should stick around. The sale starts at 7 o'clock that night. And then, the final day will be mostly the Holstein meetings and some award banquets, but lots of stuff throughout the week.
Right. And what about, there's things happening for Junior Holstein Association as well?
Yeah, the junior events actually get started already. They come in mostly on Monday with a welcome dance that night. They get to have, they have a lot of competitions that the kids are going to be participating in that have come through state competitions. And those will be primarily on Tuesday and Thursday and some finals on Friday. And then they'll have a fun day, including a tour and a water park for them on Wednesday. And then pizza parties and other fun things Thursday night. And and a lot of the events are actually together with the adults and the juniors, so the whole families can attend.
Great. And how many exhibitors are you expecting?
Wow, quite a few. We think and hope at least it's possible for 400 plus juniors and a similar size number for adults. It just depends on the year, and that's why we're trying to draw even more with the Data and Innovation Summit to bring in larger crowds than that even.
That's great. And registration isn't open yet. When does it open?
We actually just opened it recently last weekend. Yeah, we just got it out, and it can be found at our website, the 2022 National Holstein Convention.com. And the registration link is found on either the homepage or it's listed under the schedule tab, and it'll be open through May 31st.
Great. And what's the cost of admission?
For the Data and Innovation Center, it's only $25. So it's really great value. We wanted people to come. We want people to learn and take in the whole convention. And so that part of the meeting is $25 and includes a nice hot meal with that. So it's really the cost of the meal. And we'll have, other meals and tours are also ticketed. So those are all within the same registration that they can sign up for if they're interested in attending all of those other parts of the convention as well.
Wonderful. And those looking for race or RPOS CE credits, they can get them there too?
Yes. Our Data Innovation Summit is approved for 6 hours of continuing education credit for the jurisdictions that recognize the race approval and the veterinarians. Mm-hmm. And it's also been approved for 5 CEU credits with the American Registry of Professional Animal Scientists. So that's the ARPA's group that you were mentioning.
Great. And So more broadly, looking at the industry now, dairy producers are constantly aiming for more efficient operations. So why is that so important for future success?
Well, when margins on farms are typically small and there remains basically the same number of cattle in the US with the 9 million dairy cows. And so improving margin and production efficiencies are really vital for growing population and demand globally. And so, to me, data technologies can play a very large role in this, in helping improve the herd. And an estimate I once heard from a study in 2008 showed that 70% of the growth in feeding the world in 2050 will need to come from efficiency improving technologies. And so that's a big deal. So data and innovation is going to be a very important part of this technology aspect of that. So I'd also like to, add to that labor efficiencies is also vital and big part of the dairy producer's thought process as well. So it's not getting any easier to find good help to run our farms, to help manage and get the jobs done that we have to do. So again, technologies we're talking about can have a meaningful impact on the labor as well.
Yeah, great points. And I've seen some incredible advances in technology lately, like Canthus and their computer vision AI system, robotics being introduced by AMS Galaxy and others, of course. So what's the most revolutionary new product that you've seen lately?
Yeah, there are a lot. You've named some really good ones there, and I'd hate to leave any out because there are so many, and they keep coming. So, but there's some cool things like electronic boluses to measure a cow's information from the inside, not just the wearables outside like the collars and ear tags, but now also from the inside, and even the outside wearables are continuing to evolve and improve. And then you mentioned some computer vision ones, and there's even one now that is measuring lameness and locomotion, and some that monitor employees in the parlor. And and then of course robotic milking is also huge and evolving, and that is also changing as well. And then you need to consider all these technologies have a lot of data, and what do you do with all that data, right? So there's a lot of work that's evolving in the data integration, where people and companies are trying to make the information work together better and faster. And so I see that as an area that has a lot of opportunity and challenges, which I'm sure we'll hear about during our panel and part of the summit. So there's a whole host of things and technologies that, may not even be part of our cow and herd data scope, such as feeding automation and all that too. But lots of exciting things out there.
Yeah. And with all of these massive amounts of data coming in an operation, how does a producer avoid that overload? That's obviously going to be part of that panel too, right?
Yeah, yes, that can be a challenge. And I think we need to try to, and the industry I think is trying to make simple and technology be congruent and be similar. I think it's possible. So, but that's why some of the topics we chose are here to help the producers think about how they can improve the data that they're gathering and or utilizing to make decisions, as well as how to ask the right questions so that they can pick the right system or technology to make a better decision for them and their specific situation.
Good point. And what are you hearing in terms of supply chain issues for the dairy industry?
Yeah, I definitely hear that there's delays out there, and I think most every parts of the industry. Some might be longer than others, but I think planning ahead always helps. Now, I think we're learning that, especially now when we're used to more just-in-time type of things. But now it's trying to plan ahead for some big and important things, especially when there's important timelines to meet on a dairy. So just planning ahead and to try to accommodate what might be out there for supply chain until that situation improves.
And what do you think are the biggest challenges that producers are facing in 2022?
I think it's much the same as it usually is, with just different nuances, but labor challenges that has been, I think, out there for quite a while. Doing more with less and being able to survive these cyclic markets, especially, feed prices right now are likely the highest they've ever been. And because farmers have so many hats to wear. It's also, keeping up with what's new and trying to help them figure out what's right for them. So that's why we hope, again, this event can be a useful and practical educational event for them to take part in and take a lot of take homes from.
Definitely. Yeah. And then, there are a lot of challenges, but when it comes to opportunities, what are you seeing as far as opportunities that producers should be taking advantage of?
Yeah, I guess on a cow level, I believe genetics are still one of the best returns on investment for the long term. And, beyond that, finding the right combination of technologies to utilize in their herd, in their fields, and, for their crops. And then, and this can come from a lot of different shapes and forms. And, attrition is a big part of that too. And whatever can also impact and improve feed efficiency, especially right now, I think is highly interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. And so where can people find more information? I know you touched on that earlier.
Yeah, I'll just repeat that again because it is important. You can go to our website, which is the year 2022 National Holstein Convention altogether.com. So that's all one word.
Okay.
And we also have a Facebook page with the same name if they want to find us there and link to our website is another aspect. So
awesome. And I have one last question for you. What are you most passionate about and why do you serve this industry?
Yeah, I'm passionate about the cows and the people. I go together. I mean, the people I get to work with in the dairy industry and the people I'm fortunate to serve in the dairy industry. And I just love the dairy cow. She's an amazing animal and is doing Olympic-like athletes and events her entire life and, turning grass into milk. I mean, how amazing is that, right? And they're pretty likable cows too. So that's the other reason.
Yep, that's pretty phenomenal. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm sure it's going to be an excellent event and definitely needed right now, I'm sure.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Hope to see everybody there.
And thanks to all who are watching or listening. If you want to learn more, the links will be provided in the show notes. And don't forget to subscribe to our North American Ag Spotlight YouTube, Rumble, or AgFuse channels. And the podcast is available on Spotify, Apple, Stitcher, Amazon, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And have a great day. Thanks so much for listening to today's Ag Spotlight episode, where we put the spotlight on people and companies doing great things for the agricultural industry. Don't forget to subscribe on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, Stitcher, or on your favorite podcasting platform, and give us a 5-star review. You can also follow us on YouTube and Rumble to see the video version of Ag Spotlight. Also, head on over to NorthAmericanAg.com to subscribe to our Industry Connect update newsletter. If you're interested in advertising opportunities, email us at connect@NorthAmericanAg.com. Thanks for listening. Our newest podcast by North American Ag is called What Color is Your Tractor? The stories behind the ag brands you love and the ag brands you love to hate. Hosted by me, Chrissy Wozniak. We take a deep dive into the companies that have built modern agriculture. Subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform. Go to whatcolorisyourtractor.com. Available on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you listen to podcasts.